Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Hey, thanks for checking me out. So, today I'm not doing one while I'm driving. I actually just got home from work, and I thought I'd do a video for you because I felt drawn to do it, and I think this is an important one. So, I'm going to read out some Bible verses to tell you where I'm going with this at the beginning, and I think you'll understand my point when I get to the end. And I consider this an important video. And I'm going to talk about verses from the Bible about stumbling, specifically the King James Bible. Proverbs 3:23. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. Proverbs 4:12. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Proverbs 4:19. The way of the wicked is darkness, they know not at what they stumble. Isaiah 5:27. None shall be weary nor stumble among them, none shall slumber nor sleep, neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosened, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken. Isaiah 8:15. And many among them shall stumble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken. Okay, so I think there's many more verses about this in the Bible. So I think you have a general idea of what I'm going to be talking about. And so what does it mean to stumble? What does it mean? What am I talking about? So when we have something that is, you're stumbling, is the ways of the wicked. But when you're not stumbling, you're going right through, It's like when you go at line, let's say at checkout, you go to the supermarket. People get angry for waiting in line. And all of a sudden, you'll have one guy or one gal gets in line, she has a lot of stuff, and you'll notice it goes beep, 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 she pays gone. And then someone else, it's like, oh, I have a check, I wanted to cash, I want this, I want that. And it takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm using this as an example. So the example is that if you're right with God, you're right in your ways, you're gonna breeze through these kind of obstacles that are put in your path. But when you're doing evil, there's stumbling things happening. Now, I'm using all this as an example again. So when I spoke about back in April, I did a couple of videos. Evergreen. So Evergreen was a tanker, and as I spoke about, there was an issue with this tanker that was very strange with this shipping containers and such. So we had in China, there was a truck, Evergreen, huge 4-lane pile accident, stopped traffic for miles and miles and miles. Huge international incident. There was a truck on the side. It said Evergreen. On this tanker in the Suez Canal, another ship got stuck. The name of the ship was Evergreen. At the time, I had information that was given to me through prayer that I received, and then it was confirmed from other people that what was happening was that the ship Evergreen at the time had individuals on board that they were smuggling. So these folks were being smuggled, about 4,000, that there were women and children and some men, for sex slaves and trafficking in human cargo. Now, that human cargo was on the ship, as I understand it, when that ship got stuck in the Suez Canal. At the time, I posted my video and I said that that was really a bad thing. And I think I underlined that with my tone of voice and did do my quote unquote public service announcement like these videos are sometimes for me. And I came out against that. Now, at the time, I didn't realize it, I believe, but Google blacked out the from above. They have, I guess, the source. They had not even drones. It was something like on Google Earth during those days in the Suez Canal when that tanker was stuck. They happened to not have a feed for some reason on that one section. So what was happening, as I believe, that people were stuck on the tanker and died. A lot of these illegal people are being transported and they were taken off and the bodies were hidden, right? So again, how do I know this? I had a couple of sources that came up with it, but mostly, again, I prayed and got this information. So God knows, when these things happen, right? Now what's happening in the world? I came out about that and said, people need to, first of all, we need to stop all this illegal slave trade, illegal sex trade, trafficking in humans. It's bad. Imagine 4,000 people praying to God, help me, help me. What do? God stops the tanker, it gets stopped. God was angry, speaks to his messengers, chooses me. I come out, make a video about it. What happens? Nothing. Nothing happened. Nobody changed their ways. Nobody did anything. Fast forward, that was in April. Fast forward to today. What's happening in the world? There's stumbling going on for the wicked, the evil people. The tankers are offshore. They can't get to offload their cargo. We have, in the automotive industry, there are shortages. There are billions of dollars being lost because they can't deliver the products, quote unquote, microchips. There's no microchips. Now, it's not microchips, the cars can't get delivered. They can't get ships. There's no ships. It comes down to there's stumbling blocks being put into place because of the evil that's going on. I don't know if I told you this before. I know I haven't told you this, but for a lot of people, it's common knowledge that the mafia is in charge of the ports. The mafia and crime syndicates run the ports. A lot of illegal activity is going on at the ports. It's going on all over. It's going on through most ports. There's graft and there's payments and there's bribes going on. There's illegal activity. One of the most heinous illegal activities that in God's eyes, I could say that would be child trafficking. And that was something that I brought up previously. If you're wondering why there's things that aren't happening, why we're not able to get these tankers to come and offload cargo, sure, you could do the research. You could say, oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. Oh, it's this thing. When Peter was coming and when he was on a cart and when he was he had these scales that went over his eyes. He couldn't see. He was blinded. The same thing can happen to people today, that you could think, oh, it's because of these cars aren't being delivered because of microchips, or cars aren't being delivered because of shipping shortage, shipping logistical issues. It's all logistics. But what's in actuality is happening is there's stumbling being put on the evildoers. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a country that doesn't value its borders, like the United States. Maybe those things, there's evil that's happening at the border. Maybe that there's evil people shipping in fentanyl across the border, killing hundreds of thousands and millions of Americans. So how would this not be surprising that tankers and logistical issues are happening worldwide when we clearly have a transgression against righteous behavior, and this is what you reap what you sow, and this is now what's happening. I wanted to make a video and sit down and talk about this for a minute because it seems to me a very important subject. And this came all to me today when someone messaged me and they said, Victor Hamza, what's happening at the ports? And so I said, I just spoke to somebody for 20 minutes about the ports, but what really is happening at the ports? And I prayed. I said, God, what's happening at the ports? It doesn't make sense. And then all this information I received, and I said, wait a second. That's right. I made the video about Evergreen and about the tanker being snared in the Suez Canal, and there was the truck, and there was all these signs about Evergreen, and then now we have the tankers that can't offload the cargo. So you could say that that was a foreshadowing of what happened now, and that if, for instance, America doesn't have their borders working correctly, and if they don't stop these horrible transgressions of which are happening across the border of human trafficking that's happening now, documented across from Mexico to the United States, we have a lot of human trafficking, not just on ships. So that displeases God. Then he gets somebody like me to come out in front of somebody like you to give this message. So the message is to stop these transgressions. Once all these things stop, then the stumbling will stop. Then you'll see all the shipments happening. Then all the kids get their Christmas presents. Everybody gets what they're supposed to get. I thought this was an important video, so I didn't want to change my clothes. I wanted to be in my suit that I am at work, and I wanted to be out in front of you, clearly enunciating every word to make sure that God's message is heard today, that we need to stop the evil of this human trafficking. It is a high offense, and it offends me as well. It offends God. The people who are doing this know who they are. So does God. And he put a stumbling block in place to stop this from happening, to show his displeasure. To me, it's clear. I hope it's clear for you as well. I want to thank everybody for watching this video, and let me know what you think in the comments. If you like it, dislike it, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't hurt God's feelings either. if you feel like I said something that was correct, perhaps you could share it. The more this video gets shared, the more people will understand what's really going on. So like Peter had those scales over his eyes, you could look at what's happening, why the shipping containers aren't being shipped. You could say, oh, it's because of this, and oh, it's because of that, and oh, it's because of this. But in actuality, the real reason behind these acts of stumbling is because of these great offenses that need to be stopped. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great evening. God bless you all.